Behind John on the wall, everybody has repertoire. Everybody has multiple things that they can do. The first person to the chart wrote the words. Other people said, I do that too, by putting a check mark. So as the last aspect of repertoire building that would encourage student participation. So those are all activities, repertoire for student participation. I'm going to ask you to do what we call in the ed biz a whip around, and a whip around means everybody speaks, everybody says their thing, then moves on, and there is no adjudication of what they say. Nobody says, oh, good idea, like they do on Family Feud, good answer.
We're Canadian, we're going to say it anyway.
We're not doing that. But nor will there be any critique that includes no peanut butter look, no eye rolling, no snorting, which is what people do when they're adjudicating the work of others. Well, we're not doing that. So I'm going to give you a second to think about that list, and you can haul out your list if you want. What I'm going to ask you to do is make a public commitment of something that you're going to try. So it wasn't on your do list, it's on your I might do this list. Now we're not going to follow you home and say Wednesday next week. Have you done that yet? Where's your answer to that? It's just you're going to state a possibility. I'm going to try what?
And we have you videotape.
That's not recording, is it?
What a good idea.
Not right now.
So, Tammy, do you want to go first?
No.
Oh. I should rephrase that question. Tammy, please go first. So then it's not a question, it's a statement. It's an instruction.
So, just so I understand correctly, so I am going to state something that I am going to try based on these cards.
Yeah, that you haven't done it yet.
But I haven't done it yet. Okay, there's one in here that I really liked. Well, there was lots that I actually really liked, and quite a few that I haven't never done. And I based my experience not on instructing, but just in general meetings.
Yeah, human is good.
Yeah, human is good. I like the low stakes competitions. We do, in our staff meetings, we try to do a lot of team building exercises right at the beginning. But this has, the Jeopardy, the Family Feud, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So a lot of those particular games would be excellent to add to our staff meetings as well. The buzzer, yeah.
I would like to try the jigsaw sometime in the future. I'm intrigued by it, but I can see the enthusiasm level being quite high with participants in the jigsaw.
Yeah. That's a good one. You didn't use your cards or anything, I'm impressed.
I went to looked over there. And I was watching what you were doing too. I was thinking to myself, don't pick jigsaw.
I'm going to come back to that.
I've been given a teaching assignments until, I think, for the first 6 months of the year. I think we've already done that. And I have 6 of these don't do's. And I'm going to try the first 3 in the first 6 months of 2015. So question and answer, demonstration, and jigsaw. And the other 3, in order, many questions and add something, I'm going to do, hopefully, if I get some more teaching assignments, in the last 6 months of 2015.
Did you say I, John, to the camera? John.
For the record.
You can go ahead. I made my commitment.
I
Tanya, commit. I like the demonstration one. Although I've done tons of demonstration, I haven't done it like this, which is during a lecture demo, learners write down questions that a person should be able to answer if they understood the topic, and put them in a pile, and I love that. I'm going to try that in my next class. Yeah, I think that's actually quite brilliant. It'll be for more, not a learner group, but a more experienced group. I like it.
That's brilliant.
I challenge you.
I challenge myself. So I accept your challenge.
And
raise the bar. The one card that that I like here is the what's wrong in the safety field and safety professionals. We have to be good at finding things that are wrong, gap analysis, inspections, and things like that. So it's something we kind of, everybody kind of sighs at the negativity on that, but guys, that we have to do. So going out and definitely having pictures and things like that, and getting the new CSOs and new safety people defining things that are wrong will be, I think, a big asset going forward.
Good.
I challenge you.
I'm going to the islands.
Follow me if you dare. Maybe not today, though.
I'm just going to make it up, right?
Yeah, you're not going anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm going to come to your house today. So, I like to add something because it's kind of like one of those story games where you could make it, it could be really fun. It could be really fun, and I think fun's important. Laughter in the classroom, I think it's important. Anyway, and then the other thing is, I like what you liked.
I like what you like.
Aww, this is nice.
Yes,
Aww.
and that is the demonstration one. Yeah, and the questions at the end. Can they, yeah. I like that.
And I like the ad one too.
Thank you.
That's my second.
Good.
We mixed it up.
I like all of you.
I told you we couldn't do it. Good one, good one. It's a good one.
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah, we're not supposed to say that.
We're not allowed to say that.
So, committing to a goal is how we learn. Duh. That's why there is a syllabus and a plan, or an activity outlay for lessons and all that kind of stuff. So the commitment that you're making, you don't have to do it publicly. The thing about doing it publicly is you're more likely to follow through. It is as well a hallmark of all the professions. Professionals make their practice public. They're able to name what they do, which is why I'm standing here. What is this about? This is about my commitment to my own growth. And when I say I'm going to work on this, I've established myself as a learner. Duh. That's where we came in today, was every good teacher knows that he or she is a learner. You just say, yeah, I'm going to try this, and you got excited. And I know when I'm going to do it. And I'm going to start here, and I'm going to do this next, and it's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And that's what you want your learners to be saying. So if that's what you're saying and doing, that's going to help. So that expression, making your practice public, is very important. I want to tell you a story over here. A sad story, sort of, about doing this in a Train the Safety Trainer class that I taught a year or so ago. It was a big class. It might be coincidental that it was entirely populated with men. Most of them were site superintendents responsible for safety. They seemed grudgingly to be so. And in this case, they wouldn't do any of these things. I did this envelope thing with them. Well, I wouldn't do any of these things. Oh, well, why not? Well, my people don't know anything. Well, I couldn't trust them to do what's wrong, or each one teach one, or Q&A, because they don't know anything. I'm the only one who knows stuff, so I have to maintain the entire lesson and discussion myself because they don't know anything. And I said, well, who are these people? Are they Red Seal tradespeople? Yeah. And where did you get them? Did you hire them? Yeah. From accidentally? No, we interviewed them. They were the best of the lot. Okay, so you hired qualified tradespeople out of a pool of folk, and you don't trust that they know anything at all. So do you follow them around and check every nail that they hammer and every joint that they link and every time they load the crane? Are you right there checking up? Oh, well, no. So will you trust them to do the work? You must think that they know something. Well, no, they don't know anything. That was not my, I'll say no more about that. But they were so nervous about letting go of control into the learners that they couldn't let the learners learn, which is tragic.
Yeah.
So all of these strategies, and this is not a complete set, and I'm not suggesting that it is. The key thing is, have you got repertoire so that you can dance in hot coals with your learners? If you meet a block, well, can you get around it? Can you go over it, under it? Is there someone else? Is there another student who can relate to that person? That's what we're on about. 25 students, and one teacher is 26 learners. That's 13 teaching learning pairs. You can do a whole lot with that many people on duty. And that's what this student engagement, student participation is about. Everybody working hard together. Like you would on a crew. You know, one guy with the 2x4 here dragging the other end on the ground is not going to get a lot done, which is why you put somebody on the other end of the 2x4s. So the logic of how we are in the world needs not to be left behind when we're going into teaching. So you got a lot of repertoire already, you've got some commitment to try new stuff, and you've positioned yourselves as learners, so that's all good news. And when we move on to the next thing, I'll go to the back, I'll put a check mark beside number 2, which shows that we're pretty much halfway done, which is exciting if you're an end gainer, which is not a good thing, but it's what I am anyway. And we're going to shift over to the other side of the teaching, learning circumstance and use those same cards. We're going to look at feedback. How do you know that the students are learning? Because one of the ways that you know whether your teaching is on point, your pacing is right, you've got the right materials, whatever, is some capacity to lift up the head of the learner and look in and see, is there anything going on in there? So the whole function of feedback in the lesson, during the lesson, at the end of the lesson, in the conversation, is that constant checking. How are we doing? What's happening? Just as there is repertoire for teaching, that is putting things out in front of people, there's also repertoire for finding out, is this landing on fertile ground? Are any of these seeds likely to sprout? Or are we just passing time or waiting till the class is over? So there's a whole repertoire of feedback techniques that typically hide under a concept called assessment, which used to be we would teach the whole lesson or the whole of the term, and when it was all done and over there, then we'd have a test and we'd see what people know. Having the test at that point is pointless. Why? It's too late. The class is over. So if we found out that nobody knew squat, it's too bad. We're still just there to kiss them goodbye. It's done. So feedback needs to be part of the constant loop. I teach, I check, I teach, I check, I teach, I check, so that I know what to teach next. If people are getting it and moving on and looking bored, I let it go. If they're looking stunned, I'm thinking, well, you're looking pretty stunned, let's try something else, and I move further into my repertoire. So that constant conversation, assessing, feedback, teaching, increases the likelihood that the learning is really going to land and stick and be useful. So in the assessment course, in the Provincial Instructor's Diploma, this is the assessment handbook that we use, and they're all strategies for finding out what people know. What's wonderful about this book, Classroom Assessment Techniques, is that these authors have done all the work. They've figured it all out, all the different ways that you could do various things. So all you need to do is look up what you want to check out. Suppose I want to check out, let's say, responsibility for self. There appears to be 7 different strategies in here that you can use with students. And it tells you how long it takes to prepare it, how long it takes for students to respond, and how to analyze the data. So this is just a divine resource. It's a little bigger than you want to use necessarily on one day. And I'm going to send you back to those cards that you looked at and a little baseball, while watching baseball points, and pull out into a pile in consultation with your partner those things that also work as what we call diagnostic or assessment strategies. Which ones tell you what students know? You've already done that, you two, Tanya and Travis, in looking at the demo, and those are in the Q&A are samples of that. But which ones percolate to the surface? If I did this in my class, I'd get clues about what my students knew, and then I'd know what to do. Because I come with a plan, but my plan is pointless. It depends what you are up to. So go through the list again with your partner and pull out into a single pile those things that reveal what students know. They would then qualify as feedback or assessment or diagnostic actions. Just take a couple of minutes to do that, and then we're going to do something else with it.
but this is harder to do.
Can I just ask a question before everybody, because I need to hand this in.
Some coffee.
Michelle, do you want fries, salad, Caesar salad?
Just soup.
But your clubhouse comes with,
Oh.
anybody who ordered the clubhouse, it either comes with soup, chowder, green salad, Caesar salad, fries, or yam fries. So.
Does it come with soup?
Scotty?
Yeah.
And also what kind of bread you want too.
Oh, shoot.
Scotty, decide for us.
Sourdough.
Exactly.
Okay, Scotty, you want sourdough.
I want it right.
And Scotty, do you want fries or salad? Yes, but this, see this Caesar salad here, or this clubhouse salad comes with this. Oh, I see. So you
Well,
did
that'd be kind of like,
Oh.
it says chowder. Chowder. Yeah.
Oh, if they're very poor, sorry, I can't. It's
Okay, and what kind of bread?
Sometimes they just,
does it say which kind of bird they don't really know it?
Red bread.
Like white bread?
Yeah.
Sourdough?
Sourdough, yeah.
Sourdough.
Yeah.
well, maybe, yes, yes.
Yes, which ones are going to give you clues the students are, where they reveal what they know?
Yes.
It absolutely does, just work with one pot.
And John?
But it absolutely
What kind
does.
of bread do you want?
There, Joe, you're right.
Sourdough.
What is that?
I am joining Scott, I'm coming over to Scotty's side.
Yes.
They were here on the table. They're all assessment strategies, assessment.
Was there any other questions we need to answer on the clubhouse? I thought the clubhouse was a sandwich, it's not, it's a salad.
No, it's a sandwich.
It's a sandwich.
Should be
It
able
comes
to
with all
answer if they
your
understood the
choice of
topic.
those.
What's in it.
And I didn't say salad on there.
Just seafood chowder and
So technically,
Yes.
technically, yeah, instructor provided the situation as a problem.
Feedback for.
Okay, I'll start on it.
I usually stop
Yeah, as long as they,
If you've taught them how to do it, then you're gonna say, okay, where's the problem? Tell them how to
yeah,
do it.
as long as they understood the context, they should be able to sort of review these. It's kind of fun. In other words,
2 years ago. Fell apart.
No.
Really putting it back.
did they understand it?
I'm feeling good.
Okay, add something.
Add something, okay.
Right.
So what is the
After lecture
description?
demo, a learner is asked to talk about an important aspects of the task. Each answer every learner says, please add something.
Is that really true that they understood it?
Yeah, as it gets harder and harder toward the end of the chain, because many things have been bespoke, whereas I'm saying, I hope she doesn't pick jigsaw, because that's what I want to say. So to add something, if you think about the Olympics, the difference between first place and third place in a race is minuscule, whereas for the average run of the mill, the difference between first place and third place might be a couple of minutes, several. So the closer you get to perfection, the finer the distinction between what was and what wasn't. And so toward the end of a long list of good ideas, there are fewer good ideas to have, and you have to work harder to get one.
Yeah.
And so that student then at the end of, I call it the chain, at the end of the chain gets a standing ovation if they're able to add something. Because it is really, really hard to add something. It's a refinement and a refinement, but we want to, in any of these activities, get better and better. We want to make lighter and lighter pastry, for example. My children, I made a pie once, and they said this pie was really good. You can rinse out the crust and use it again. They like the filling. I never made another pie. I didn't want to be that good. You know, there are levels of refinement in any activity is the point. And so when you add something, it requires that level of refinement. And people say, oh, no, not add something. Or other really competitive ones say, oh, yeah, let's do add something. But it does give you a sense that maybe just the grossest level of things was found, or increased nuance levels of refinement were found. Those are both clues for you.
It's really good that if it's a hands-on,
knowledge in order to
Yeah.
hands-on level, do
dissect the
search and rescue.
I don't. I would be surprised if I was able to. I think everyone.
Hypothesis.
It's terrific.
What's wrong?
Just looking at the content.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's really good.
No.
That's the one we were on the most. I've used it a lot.
This is one of the most popular students to
So this
describe
one is-
in writing to their teacher what they don't get.
Sure.
It was the muddiest point of this lesson. The thing that was the most confusing to me, because then you need to teach that again in a different way.
You had something.
You don't have to go down. I think it. We're gonna have a.
That is a medium.
It's a medium, so it's.
I was going to check this one.
Do you think this one? I do.
Yeah, yeah.
You did this.
This one for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
That one was
Just in case you feel your interest lagging, you can say, oh, well, we're halfway. We're not really halfway because 4 is the whole half on its own,
Yeah.
but, you know, if you're delusional.
Individuals.
Muddiest point?
Yeah.
And it's really fast, 3 or 4 sentences, gives you a clue, which I think is good to see.
Yeah, that's
That's interesting. When I did the ID program, they didn't have a book like that.
It is fabulous.
Is it?
Yes, it really is. I use it.
The person who put it on, who was the lecturer, I think she came out of Seattle or Washington University or something like that.
Okay.
And
Bring it down here,
she
Michelle.
knew her stuff. She was excellent.
Her name?
No idea, no clue.
We would like to order some of these.
She shared with us her philosophy of writing multiple choice question tests.
Yes.
Let me see if I
And
can.
two guys from the Ministry of Highways were there, and they said, oh, yeah, that's all
It's a
fine and
university
dandy.
textbook.
You'd never pass the
She said it
other
was
test.
using a bunch of.
She said, bring it in tomorrow.
$1,000 per textbook. Unless
She
you
didn't
find
get the
it.
necessary 80%, but she got 73%.
Textbooks are more expensive. Yeah, you gotta use books
Textbooks
for. Textbooks are more expensive than
nursing,
themselves.
those typically are the kind of
Yes,
people that
yeah.
go through the IT
That's
program.
unhelpful.
But this was,
That's
she
unhelpful.
didn't have the knowledge, but she applied her,
Capacity to take tests.
yeah, to just that.
No, I might not do this.
And in fact, our final exam for the foundations course could use a bit of work. The very first question on it breaks 2 of the cardinal rules.
$43.99 on.
How much?
43?
On Amazon.
Well, that's
What?
not bad.
The answer is C.
Yeah.
And
$40.
it's the longest answer.
It's cheaper than a handy guide.
It stands out for about this long and all the other ones are 3 days answers.
Yeah.
43 at $45.
Yes.
Costs us $50 to order them.
Because you teach the
Unless you
basic-
get 100 of them.
Where'd you guys get it?
Intermediate.
We do.
Intermediate
Well, sometimes we do, but
causes. And
sometimes
you
we order
teach
directly
the
from them.
intermediate,
Right,
the
it's
unsafe acts
cheaper
and
because we order
conditions.
hundreds at a time.
Yeah.
And then
But
it
then
should
we-
be causes why would
Should be
unsafe
$40.
acts
Should be
and
$40.
Yeah, it's
conditions allowed to
30.
exist.
Mhm.
And then they give examples
37
of
or
root
30,
causes, and
something
they're
like
all
that.
unsafe
We
acts
order
and
them
conditions
100 at a time.
at the end.
But then it's cheaper for
Every
us to
single
order
one
them
of them
through
are.
you if it's under 100. Because if we order under 100, they're $50.
I changed that a
Oh,
little
so
bit.
do you order check from Carswell?
I changed that a little bit
Oh, mine,
myself.
wow.
I throw an example, a personal example in there and guide them through it because they have a hell of a time getting the
This is a
immediate
lot of this
cause,
work safety at 122.
being able to recognize the immediate cause. That's what I found with,
Yeah.
with most of the classes.
Yeah.
They don't get it.
I'm doing a dance, I've got that.
We might only
Oh,
need,
yeah.
we only might need one book for the office. as
I,
opposed to
I
everybody.
tell them a story
One book
Yeah.
about
for
when I
resource.
cut myself with the
How much?
chainsaw.
Yeah.
$40.
40?
Yeah, and
43
I tell them that I
It
have had a
does,
serious
yes.
accident personally with a chainsaw.
There
I'm
we
being
go,
number
cheaper
one,
on
I'm
Amazon.
introducing myself,
And you
but
can
I'm
buy
not
it
going to tell you how it happened.
Yeah.
We're going to save that, so it's on day 2 that I do that when we're going through investigations. And so the immediate cause is the chainsaw coming in contact with my knee. But the intermediate causes are numerous, you know. And the root cause is young, foolhardy, and lack of training. Yeah.
Is that true?
Apparently,
Chaps,
more
we know what chaps were.
An apple?
Did you not? Yeah.
So, and
More effective at
when
waking
you're
up.
doing the scenarios, they say, remember Scotty's example, go back to that, how did the guy get hurt, what was
I
it
never
that
thought it
actually
was
caused the
while
injury?
teaching.
And that's your immediate cause.
So I say an apple a day. Get you an egg. No, just keep your teacher awake.
Yeah, that's the course I'm teaching.
So I want the whole group to attend. The book is going around Cross and I can't remember the name's name.
Who?
Thomas Angelo and Tricia Cross.
Is the textbook of one of the textbooks that we use in the assessment course of the Provincial Instructor Diploma. But this book is like a dictionary, a resource of ways to do classroom assessment, hence the name. It's called the CAT book for short, Classroom Assessment Techniques. But it's founded on the idea that the more we learn back from the students about what they know, the more precise we can be in our teaching. And that assessment needs to happen all the time, in all kinds of different ways, so that we get little snippets of information. One of the biggest ways that teachers can assess and get feedback is by looking at students' physical position. Are they paying attention? Are they making eye contact? Are they working on their iPhone? Are they nodding off? Do they look uncomfortable? Those are all clues that need to be attended to. Now, if you're teaching in a military academy and you assume that everyone's going to sit like it's a rigid back chair and be ready to salute, then you're not looking for these clues. But if you're a teacher with a heart, you are looking for these clues and you need to take them into account. Often, adult learners, any kind of learners actually, are reluctant to tell you how they're feeling about things publicly, which is why I mentioned earlier that we start a private conversation. But there are lots of ways to do that. One technique that if everyone's facing this way, like in an amphitheater or a classroom, and you can't see anyone behind you or beside you, a technique that I ask is, give me 5 about how things are going. You've seen the agenda for the day. We're halfway through the day. How's it going? If we're really on point and you feel like you're motoring along, give me 5. If you'd rather be on Pluto, you can let me know. If you only want to tell me one thing, that's fine, just not that one. So give me 5, and then you take a scan around the room and you'll see that a significant number of people, about halfway, are saying, okay, this is what's working for me. 1 or 2 might be like this. If I get some of those, I make a point of going to that student directly and do a sit beside, or, by the way, the word assessment is from the Latin root word assedere, which means to sit beside. The original idea of assessing is to determine the worth of something by sitting beside and doing an analysis. And I think that that's a humane way to think about assessment, as an exchange of information rather than I'm checking up on you, or I'm evaluating you, or I'm putting a label on your forehead. So, I digress. Anyway.
So it means to sit beside?
It does, to sit beside.
Oh. In where?
It's a Latin,
Latin.
Assedere, A-S-S-I-D-E-R-E. And its original purpose in Western economic terms was to assess the value of something or the quality of something. So an assessment of your property. What is this worth? The worthiness. And it's to come into education as to determine the worthiness of the student, which is, I think, an evil and vile concept, because a human being is worth a human being, period. But we use it to adjudicate a person's level of understanding about, or performance, actually. So, the sooner that we do the assessment with sincerity, the sooner we have an opportunity to change, improve, stay the course if things are working well. The most important assessment is the assessment of the student himself or herself. What do they know what they're doing? We gradually train that independence out of our learners, and then we try to fill it back in with something else. It's like we give them a blood transfusion, but we often have the wrong type of blood. You know, like, so what does it matter? I'm not going home with you. What does it matter what I think about you? It matters what you think about you. So any number of those techniques, ones that I use, I like give me 5 because I can joke about it. I like to do that partway through. I like exit slips, and I just save whatever paper I need. We're going to do an exit slip at the end of the day today. If you have an ongoing class, like Mary Jo, you have a class that extends over a day, you can do an exit slip at the end of one day. Tell me one thing that worked really well for you today. Or tell me about the timing of events, or make a comment about the room, any kind of information that you need.
And what do you call that?
Exit slips. It's a little piece of paper that you drop off on the way out. So I have the paper ready, just put it out there, write an exit slip. I typically do that in early, like the first week or so, mainly to demonstrate I'm open to your suggestions about things. After,
Sorry, I apologize. What you learned today or what you